start this class, we always open with mantras. They're mantras that I was taught. It comes from like the lineage of yoga that I practice in. Don't you know the words? You won't know the words. It's fine. I just chant them. Your job is just to listen or not listen. Honestly, it's up to you. I'm looking forward. Yeah. So basically, what those are is the first one is an invocation to Shiva, who is the principal energy deity, whatever you want to look at it as, in the lineage I study in. And then the second is a mantra asking for the Trimurti, which is the three parts of divinity, so Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. That represents creation, sustenance, and cessation, destruction. So people say death. I don't think that's probably the right one, but that's, your mileage may vary. So you're invoking all of those aspects to be present for your practice, and then you're acknowledging that the Guru is within, ultimately. Like, you're asking those parts of that experience to be with you, and then you're saying, but also the Guru lives in me. The last one is an invocation to protect student and teacher as you practice. So like, it's the idea of creating sacred space, in that, like, we're like formally acknowledging that, like, I'm sitting in the seat of the teacher and you're sitting in the seat of the student, and everybody agrees to that, and let's all do good work, because both of those roles have value. So that's the invocation I do at the beginning of every class. And this week we're talking about Spanda. So this is gonna be super fun because I get to like remix and rewind a bunch of stuff. There are many schools of thought within South Asian philosophy / yoga philosophy. What we call in the West as Hinduism, Vedanta or Sanatana Dharma, we're going to put to the side for a little bit. That's the stuff that's a lot of the more bhakti, deity worship specifically, although not exclusively, but more of the formalized stuff that we view in the West as Hinduism. It's not really called Hinduism, that's that. It is a dualistic philosophy. The goal in Vedanta is to take everything within you that is not Brahman, part of the universal absolute, and to get it there. But implied in that is there are things that are Brahman and things that are not Brahman. It's totally fine, but that's not what we're going to talk about today. So that's over here. So that's like the baseline one. A bunch of people, and when I say a bunch, like maybe a few dozen, decided that the dualistic idea wasn't what they wanted. That they found that the idea that anything within them was not part of the divine reality isn't how it resonated for them. So that group broke off into 3 different parts. What eventually became Buddhism. Timing's a little different. I'm overly simple. I'm simplifying this, so anybody who's going to drag me up the internet, this is all being simplified. That one group became Buddhist, whereas like nothingness is the goal. Not nothingness, but like complete lack of friction is the goal in that way. By acknowledging that nothing is nothing. Then you had Jainism, which I don't talk about too much because I'm not well versed enough in it really, but that's also kind of a more offshoot of Vedantism. And then we have the area that I study in, which is non-dualistic philosophy. So I specifically study in the Shaivism tradition, which centers Shiva as the god of yoga and the destroyer, but also a lot of different aspects. And within that, so like we're making the family tree. I guess I should have used the diagram. That actually would have been helpful. So within that, so we have, this actually will be helpful. So you have Vedanta over here. Non-dualism. We'll call that Indi. Okay? Don't worry about this. This can chill. There's a lot within this. This becomes Jainism, Buddhism, Shaivism. In Shaivism, there are 4 schools of thought that you use. They're really paths. Some people are sticklers that when you pick a path, you're on the path. Sure. But also that's hilarious because we're non-dualists and there's like, not that there's no rules, but there's very few rules. Within Shaivism, you have the Spanda school. You have the Pratyabhijna school. And you have Krama, I hope I got that right, and Kaula. We're not going to worry about Krama and Kaula. Those don't matter. I mean, they matter. They don't matter for our purposes. Sure. We're not here for Pratyabhijna, so we will start with this. So Pratyabhijna is a school of thought that exists around the idea that your number one goal as a practitioner, you or the global you, is to acknowledge the self as divinity, specifically Shiva, because in Shaivism, we center Shiva. So your goal is to work at every moment to recognize, it's a recognition school. One of the major texts are like the Recognition Sutras, which is where you say every day, how do I more deeply realize that I am pure consciousness, aka Shiva? So within Shaivism, there's 2 important ideas, Shiva and Shakti. Okay? In Pratyabhijna, you're looking to be Shiva, which is consciousness. AKA consciousness that is aware of itself. I know, right? But I like to think of this like Schrodinger's cat. Have you heard of this? Yes. Okay, right? The cat doesn't exist until you observe it. Then you know the reality and the nature of the cat. Is it alive or dead? That's literally Shiva consciousness. When you become aware that you are Shiva, you know the true nature and reality of yourself. If you don't look in the box, shrug emoji. What are you? We don't know. So the goal in the Pratyabhijna school is to continually become aware every moment that you feel you are not inherently divine or inherently a manifestation of Shiva himself, is to find a way to pull yourself back, to open up the box, to look in. In both schools, the interplay of Shiva and Shakti is what creates the universe. But in the Spanda school centers Shakti. And Shakti is the primordial energy of creation. We'll just call that energy of creation. In both schools, you have to have Shakti to become aware of consciousness. It's like the catalyst, right? It's the spark, it's the big bang of your own awareness. But you have to have conscious awareness to recognize Shakti. So these 2 are consciously like dancing between each other all the time. When you talk about Spanda and Pratyabhijna, it's a question of what you're centering. Neither's right or wrong. Both are going to require the idea of Shiva and Shakti. But in Spanda, we are saying your number one goal is to become aware of your part in the cosmic petri dish of existence. So you are less identifying as Shiva, you're more identifying as the catalytic energy. Neither's right or wrong. In fact, I fluctuate between the 2, depending on which is more accessible. Sally Kempton calls Spanda the original pulsation of divine energy that creates the universe and remains embedded in every particle within it. And so that's, you know how matter is neither created nor destroyed, right? Like that's a fundamental law of the universe, theoretically. Although I was reading some really interesting stuff about dark matter, which I will come to later, which I do think is a really interesting intersection of science and these philosophies, but put that to the side. In the Big Bang, when the universe was created, there was a huge outpouring of energy, and that energy spread to create the known universe. For everyone playing at home who reads Reddit or like the internet, yes, there could be other universes. We're just playing within this one, right? That fertile ground that ended up creating all the planets and life that we knew and the stars and everything else from all the same essential matter that existed at the moment of creation, that's Shakti. And that is Spanda. So Shakti is the energy, Spanda is this big petri dish of what is to become. The problem in all things, all religions really, is the idea that a human being is somehow separate from the thing they're trying to believe in. Like even as we were talking about like the Abrahamic religions, your goal is to reconnect to the best version of yourself that the scriptures are asking you to do. In these traditions, especially in Trinkashaivism, the goal is for you to recognize yourself as the most purest sense of self. I don't mean pure like you're pure. I mean pure like at your deepest essence, the most fundamental piece of what you are. What are you made of? In Pratyabhijna, they believe it's Shiva, consciousness. And in Spanda, you're the energy of creation. So how do you become aware of that? Well, I mean, therein is the actual question. Yeah. From the Spanda Karkas specifically, which is the text that actually brings this up, they talk about vibration of the universe. And so Spanda is thought of in terms of vibration. It's a really important idea to the idea of Spanda. Spanda, the word itself, actually comes from the root spandi, which means to move a little. So it's like that tiny little vibration, like the string of a violin, or the resonant sound after like you've heard a rock concert. Like it's that vibration that is Spanda. And so the idea of sound is really important to it. That's where like the dark energy, the dark matter conversation comes in, because I was reading an article about how dark energy is really at its chorus level sound. It's vibration, because all sound is vibration of the air around you at a particular frequency. So one of the best takes I've ever heard on Spanda is that it's the idea that the universe that you exist within is a symphony. And you don't know that you're playing an instrument yet, and you can't maybe hear the full symphony, but you hear little whispers of it. The more aware you become through practice and the more engaged with it you become, you realize that you are like playing the violin or you're playing the cello, and you are a fundamental key piece in the symphony that is existence. So then the beautiful thing about that is you are never separated from the true heart of the universe, the true vibration of the universe. It's not only that you're playing, but that your entire being is vibrating within that. And so like the Spanda Karkas talk about, one should continually exert oneself to the utmost to discern the Spanda principle. So like listen for the universal, the vibration or energy. I don't like to reduce it too often to like energy, because there's like a bunch of like new age like energy work that's cute and stuff, but like this is specifically like you're refining your awareness. Working to the utmost to discern the Spanda principle, the one will soon attain the self within the waking state. So you become aware of it even while awake. So like those experiences you have when you do a yoga practice, you're like, wow, I feel connected. That's Spanda. Or it could just as easily be Shiva. It doesn't matter. Both of those are connections to the deeper truth of yourself. When greatly exasperated, overjoyed, confused, or running for your life, take refuge in the stable foundation of Spanda. So the vibration itself I like to think of this too, of like the vibration. You know how like when you have kittens and they don't have a mom anymore? I don't know if you've ever raised kittens. Anybody's ever raised kittens? I've done this because I'm a crazy cat lady. You can make them feel more comfortable by getting an analog clock and like putting it in the bed with them, because that vibration, that sound feels like home. And so that, like when I was reading through this, I was like, oh my God, that's what that is. It's the sound of home, the sound of like the true place you want to be.
Yeah.
So when you're most freaking out is when you want to realize that you're Spanda, everything is Spanda, and it's okay. Hold on to the state of Spanda, abide in Spanda by deciding to submit to whatever Spanda brings. Therein is always the rub, right? That's where it gets hard. It's like, well, maybe I don't like what Spanda is bringing me. It's uncomfortable. That's the ask, right, of these practices. Abiding in Spanda, the sun and moon and Shakti follows the Sushumna Nadi to the Brahmacharanda. So that's like the idea that, so this is the one to unpack. So when your chakras are in line, right? The chakras are made of Sushumna or Ida and Pingala nadis, which are two nadis that go like this along the body. Where they cross is where you get a chakra. So this is the idea that when you become aware of your existence as Spanda, those energy centers in your body flow the right way, and the energy moves upward through basically what they're calling the crown chakra or the awareness chakra. This works in a different chakra system than the one that we use in the West as much, but that's what that's saying. Then, when by this means the moon and the sun remain hidden, and some enter the great heaven and become fully enlightened, but the ignorant merely enter a state of stupor. They get overwhelmed by the idea that the universe is so big and like, I can't be part of it. It's like they have a panic attack. Like Arjuna, honestly. Like the whole thing is like avoiding panic attacks. When this powerful path used mantras endowed with the power of omniscience, I don't know what that word is because I can't remember writing, advanced beyond reasoning and the embodied self. So one way to access Spanda, according to the Spanda Karikas, is to chant mantra, like what we chanted in the beginning and what we'll eventually chant in the end. The most basic of this in the Spanda Karikas is the Soham mantra. So if you were here last week, that was our theme, Soham, which just is, it's said to be the mantra of the breath. Inhale so, exhale hum, or inhale, you can reverse it. There's 5 different ways to do it, but the point is it's the internal mantra of the breath. So if you become aware of Soham, and you just realize that your body is breathing the mantra, I am that, aka I am Shakti, depending on what school you're in, then you can become aware that your body's already singing this song at the most basic level. The thing you do every single day, no matter what, until the day you don't, is the breath as the mantra. And then when the body is permeated with Spanda, one knows everything inside it. So once you're aware of Spanda, you realize your whole body is Spanda, and there's nothing that isn't Spanda. So this wall, this world around you, the people you love, the people you hate, everything is made up of Spanda. Similarly, when one is in a state of pure being, you are fundamentally permeated with Spanda. And then you understand everything spiritual. So that's the whole thing, right? I mean, it's not the whole thing. I mean, it is the whole thing. That's the thing about all this. These ideas are super, super simple. The rub comes in all of this, are the moments that you're not in it. Right? Like the moments where you don't feel like any sort of pure being. Like you just feel like there's a bunch of traffic, I have a terrible meeting, everybody's terrible, somebody ghosted me, blah, like I'm hungry, the grits were insufficient, whatever that is. It's like those are the moments where you don't see yourself as Spanda. And your whole job is to listen for the vibration of the universe. And if you can find it, and then use that little thread of connection and say, okay, where is that also within me? You're in Spanda. I get there sometimes, I guess. Not a lot. It's just quite a lot of practice. Okay, so I went through a bunch. Do you have any questions about this?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, great.
Writing it out helped. I would have been.
I know. I've done it. I've been through this part. like 10 times in this class.
Mhm.
And I do think seeing it and seeing why and where, but knowing that these are the same thing, because it sounds really reductive to say like it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
It is slightly reductive, but it's also the truth, but we want it to be more complicated.
Mhm.
Right? I mean, we're like, yeah, but aren't there some rules I have to observe? Like, aren't there things I have to do?
Yeah.
Do I have to like jump through a hoop or gauntlet? Like, what do I have to do? And the answer is, you listen for the vibration of the universe.
Yeah.
Any questions, thoughts, comments, concerns?
Not for me.
Okay, great. I don't think anybody's on me. Okay, so here we go. So at a minimum, here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to chant a mantra. I'm going to write that mantra down for you.
Okay.
So if you want to chant it, you can, but you certainly don't have to. I will chant it forever, so don't worry about it. This month, because we're talking so deeply about this school of thought, we are using Om Namah Shivaya. So Shiva is our deity this month. We do a monthly deity. I don't know if Brittany told you that. We do a monthly deity. And every month we chant a mantra to them. This is like the big one. So in almost any school of thought, this is an acceptable mantra. There are some mantras that you wouldn't see used like in these schools of thought, but this one pretty much translates over all of them.
Mhm.
I don't think they use it in Buddhism really, but that's just not their thing. But certainly within all of the other schools, you would use this mantra. And this is Om Namah Shivaya. And so what this means, first of all, I will say, because Sanskrit, we talked about this, is an oral language, a resonant language, the meaning doesn't matter. The meaning will become apparent to you, whatever that means. But English speakers are always like, yeah, but what does it mean? So like first thing is like, it doesn't mean anything, it also means everything. Second layer, this means salutations or honoring. Om is the primary vibration of the universe. That's the fundamental sound of Spanda, possibly, is Om, right? And then Shivaya is an honorific to Shiva. So this is like, I bow to Shiva, or I honor deeply Shiva. For me, it's always been, I bow to that which I am becoming. Because to me, I'm Shiva.
Mhm.
So I'm bowing to the Shiva within me, and the Shiva I will be, or the Shiva I'm trying to recognize. So to me, that's what it's always meant.
Mhm.
Your mileage may vary.
Mhm.
It might not mean anything to you, that's totally fine. But that is the mantra we're using this month. So we won't chant that long, we'll chant maybe like 5 minutes. It'll feel like forever, but when you do it the first time, I think it sounds like forever. Feels like forever, but we will start. So all it is different. Oh, that's not the right one. Man, harmonium playing, really complicated. So the way kirtan works is it's a call and response. So I would chant first. If you want to chant, you'll chant second. It doesn't matter. I'm going to chant all the parts because with only 2 people, it gets really complicated. But we're going to do this. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Namah Shivaya. Om 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 Namah So the goal of mantra work is when you chant the mantra, you repeat the mantra, and you don't think of anything but the mantra. You can feel it vibrate in the air around you. Literally also sound vibrations happening, but when you practice mantra work a lot, you can hear the sound, right? You can hear it in your mind and it's not playing. And so the goal in a lot of practices or kirtans was to chant mantras for hours and hours and hours and just create this sort of like intense body of sound and then be present to it. So just like, you know, we have our own voices and the harmonium has a sound and the air around us has a sound and the ductwork system has a sound, all of it's creating the body of sound, which is Spanda. So that's what you do. Yeah, that's the honor. Do you have any other questions?
No, that was fun.
I mean, thank you. I'm so glad you did so great. I was like, she gonna sing. I love it. Yes. It's not that two people singing isn't great. We do two people kirtans all the time. But when you get like the drums going and the kartals, it's like a whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have shameless plug. We will have a actual kirtan the week of December 2nd on Saturday. So if you want to see like my actual teacher come in and like do some real kirtan bangers, that will it gets loud. It gets loud. Oh my gosh. It gets, I mean, the request is out for Shiva Shambho. I hope when he watches this, he hears it because Shiva Shambho is like the OG banger. It's like amazing. But yeah, so thanks so much for watching, fam. If you have any questions, I guess slide in the DMs. Oh, Jared. Hey, Jared. Bye, buddy. That's funny. Okay.